Hello, education actors, wherever you are. How are you? I hope all of us are always happy and healthy, even in this pandemic. On this occasion, I would like to present to you a school curriculum product designed as a result of a school needs analysis. One curriculum product that I choose to develop is student activities and worksheets on science. Why this is important? In world education, science learning functions to shape the scientific attitudes of students. Through science learning, students learn critically, objectively, and thoroughly. Science learning encourages students to develop skills, be problem solver, and broaden the insight into attitudes and values that are useful for improving the quality of everyday life. In addition to scientific knowledge and skills, science learning trains students' spiritual attitudes and social learners through learning activities that are closely related to various types of natural and artificial environment where humans live. Through science learning, students' awareness of their creator is fostered because science learning students know themselves and know their environment as the greatest gift from God. The importance of science learning encourages every science educator to be able to continue to develop teaching and learning creativity so that the essence of science learning can be achieved in students. Teachers need to make breakthroughs and innovations to involve students in active and independent learning so that students are motivated and have a great interest in science learning. If not, science learning will be unattractive and less desirable. It cannot be denied that complaints and disappointment with the results achieved by students in science have often been expressed. Generally, students say science is a difficult, not interesting, and even full of mystery. On the other hand, when creative and innovative learning approaches are applied, science becomes a subject that is very challenging and attracts students' interest. Through the science activities and worksheets, students are encouraged to actively discover for themselves the scientific knowledge they learn. Students are trained to learn independently and are accustomed to working according to work procedures which equip them with knowledge of skills and attitudes as part of the competency demands expected by participants. Based on this need, I felt the need to make a series of books containing science activities and worksheets. As a companion to science teaching materials that refer to the student study guide and the competency standards required in the curriculum. For this opportunity, I designed a science activities and worksheets for grade 7 with the hope that this book can help the teaching and learning process of science in schools. Curriculum Instructional Design Model Analysis. The science activities and worksheet book contains activity sheets and work as learning materials that help students to add and explore information and construct their knowledge of science, concepts, principles, and knowledge. The Science Activities and Worksheets book is a learning stimulus that can develop the ability to think, analyze, synthesize, and communicate the teaching material being studied. The importance of the role of science activities and worksheet book in active and student-centered learning. It is necessary to design a book containing a collection of student activity and worksheets bearing in mind, first, the teacher works on the science activities and worksheet book separately and depends on the circumstances. 2. The science activities and worksheet book that is integrated with the textbook so that students and teachers are reluctant to use them and often ignore activities and science work in science learning. 3. The science activities and worksheet book emphasizes more on a detailed explanation such as definition of a concept, then followed by example questions and some practice questions. The fourth, the science activities and worksheet books present solid material so that it does not encourage students to develop their thinking skills. 5. The science activities and worksheets book in terms of presentation is less attractive because the picture is colorless and unclear. And the 6th, science activities and worksheets book is less systematic and still teacher-centered. So, the science activities and worksheets book consists of activity sheets and students work in accordance with teaching materials design with various approaches and creativity to develop students' cognitive, affective, and psychomotor abilities through science learning. The science activities and worksheet book train students to reason, compile, discover, make experiments, make predictions, make observations, and communicate through various activity and work in the form of games, experiment, simulation, glossaries, literature studies, and so on. Student activity and worksheet are based on science material for grade 7, Unit 1, Organizational System of Life. Unit 2, the interaction of living things and the environment. Unit 3, environmental pollution. Unit 4, global warming. Unit 5, earth layers. And Unit 6, solar system. The students' activities and worksheet has a structure and systematic that is tailored to the form, activity objectives, and competency standards to be achieved. Development. In the process of developing the science activities and worksheets, I involved allied teachers, the curriculum section, the principal, and student representatives by distributing this material in soft copy and discussion. The science activities and worksheet received a positive response and is expected to be applied in science learning in this semester, and its implementation will be evaluated to be developed every time for the effectiveness of science learning at SMP Advent 1 Tikalah, Manado. Implementation. The implementation of the draft science activities and worksheet will be tested in the even semester 2020 in grade 7 and will be developed in other semester and classes in the future. In its application, the science activity and worksheet book is expected to increase student motivation and interest in science learning and can shift teacher-centered learning patterns to student-centered so that students' scientific abilities can continue to be developed. The content of my curriculum output is science activities and worksheets. It contains with the aim and procedure conclude that can help students to find the knowledge about science and train them to be scientific thinking and get a good character. At the end of this curriculum product, there are assessment strategies or plan. And the science activities and worksheet book will be applied to even semester science learning, and their benefits and application will be assessed in learning, both to subject teachers and students to find various improvements that can be made to improve the science activities and worksheet book in the future. Science activities and worksheets can be distributed to each meeting according to the teaching materials programmed, or can be distributed in the form of print book or ebooks. The subject teacher will evaluate the effectiveness of the science activity and worksheets for each activity carried out and make notes as necessary for improvement so that the following semester will produce a more effective science activity and worksheets design. Assessment of the science activities and worksheet book emphasizes how effective the use of the science activities and worksheet book is in developing students' ability to construct their knowledge through active and independent learning, and how the science activities and worksheet book can help students and teachers in learning science to achieve the expected competencies. The assessment of the science activities and worksheet book is expected to be input for improvement in the future. May these science activities and worksheet book can be useful in our school SMP Advent 1 Tikala Manado and can help others to learn science well. Thank you and God bless you.